Good evening and welcome to AUTOSHOP. I'm your host, Karman Wong. We've got a great show coming up ahead for everyone. It's that time of year that maybe you're taking a road trip. So our experts are going to be telling you what you need to do before, after, and maybe even during your lengthy drive. Also, we're going to find out why Fiat's CEO is asking consumers not to buy their electric car. Plus, you know why I'm outside right now in the parking lot at 299? Well, check out this vehicle. It is a Ferret Mk2. It is a British armored vehicle used by Canadian Armed Forces during peacekeeping missions. I'm going to get into that. We're going to talk all about that. But remember, you can always call or email us your questions here at AutoShop, 416-872-2724, or AutoShop at cp24.com. So let's get to it. We're going to get to this guy right behind me here. I want to introduce you to Ken Lee. You are the Ferret Project Leader for the Ontario Regiment Museum. Welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you.
Ken, tell us, before we get to this, what exactly is the Ontario Regiment Museum? What do you guys do there?
Basically, what we do is we restore and parade military vehicles that have been used by the Canadian Forces and by some of our allies. It's turned into a large collection. We started out with 9 Ferret Scout cars, and now we're over 80 vehicles that are operational, and we just keep growing.
Yeah, and so this is a Ferret. This is one of the vehicles you've been talking about restoring. Yep. Let's just take a quick walk around here, and you can tell me about this car, what it was used for. Let's start with.
Okay, the Ferret was mainly used as a reconnaissance vehicle, and reconnaissance means you go out and you look for the enemy. You try and find them without them knowing that you know where they are. And so to do that, you need something that's fast and quiet. So this vehicle here will do almost 100 kilometers an hour. That's forward and reverse.
Oh, wow, backwards.
I've had one at 35 backwards, and that was scary. But they're really rugged. They can go pretty well anywhere. They don't get stuck real easy. Unfortunately, it weighs about 4 tons, which...
That's heavy.
It's fairly heavy, yeah.
I wonder if we come around this way. I know you showed me an interesting feature here, the engine. It's got the engine of a Rolls-Royce, right? And you keep it in here.
Yes. The engine is made by Rolls-Royce. The Scout car was actually made by a company called Daimler. Now, they designed this vehicle in 1949 to make up for shortfalls of vehicles that they used in World War II. They went into production in '52. 37 different countries use this vehicle, so that gives you some idea how universal it is. Canada actually used a version of this that didn't have the turret on it. This one here came from England, so...
Yeah, and I actually had a chance to get into this car a little bit earlier just to check it out. But it's an interesting way that these wheels work. Talk to us about how that works.
Well, because of the way the vehicle is, to keep it narrow, they had to make it, have each wheel has a separate drive shaft. Now, to keep it narrow, they had to put a 90-degree gearbox in for the drive shafts, which means the drive shaft between that gearbox and the transmission has a really low RPM. And to make up for that, in here, there's a 13-gear planetary gear system, which multiplies your RPMs to give you your road speeds.
Yeah, and this is the machinery on this vehicle. What is that?
That would be a 30 caliber or 7.62 millimeter machine gun. And that's what you have beside your personal weapons.
All right, so these were used during World War II. When were they taken off the road? Do you know?
The Canadian Forces retired them in the early 80s. The British actually used them right up into the first Gulf War for airport security.
Oh, okay.
So they've been retired of the British forces now.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about AQUINO Day. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, AQUINO Day is what it is. There was a famous battle in Italy during World War II, and the Ontario Regiment was part of that battle. And what our museum has decided to do is to commemorate that day. We're having a vehicle show. We're going to have some reenactments, and you'll be able to see different vehicles being used and operated in field. There's going to be a World War II reenactment, a Vietnam reenactment, and a Gulf War reenactment. We're going to have several veterans from coming over from England that actually drove some of the vehicles that are in the collection.
All right, and that is Saturday, May the 31st, 8:30 to 5 o'clock over at the OSHAWA Airport South Field. And we've got Daniel inside of this car right now. Hi. You're going to work on driving this forward for us a little bit. It's a bit tricky. It's not an automatic. It's not a stick shift. It's kind of a combination of...
It's what's called a pre-select transmission.
Yeah.
It operates basically the same thing as a automatic transmission, except for you have a pedal for changing the gears rather than it changing it itself. So you can stop at a stoplight, whip it in gear without disengaging your drive, and it will, through a fluid coupling, it will keep the motor running. Where in a normal car, if you don't push the clutch in, it stalls.
All right. I don't have time to get in this thing, right? So I'm gonna get up into this thing, because actually behind the driver, there's room for the commander, is it?
Yes.
And there's a seat behind here, which I'm gonna slide into, and Daniel's gonna drive. I practiced that, and he's gonna drive forward for us, and it goes. You said it goes pretty fast. It goes up to 93 kilometers an hour, but we're going to go very slow in this parking lot. We're going to be very safe here. So normally it could fit maybe 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, the British would have 3 people. The Canadians operate it with only 2.
All right. Daniel, show us how this thing goes forward here. So he's starting it up. It's a good engine. And we're going ahead. And up next, we are going to have a chat with our experts about what you need to do to prepare for a road trip. I don't think you're going to be taking this car, but for a road trip, what you need to do before, after, and during. Also, we're going to take more of your calls. Stay with us here on AUTOSHOP. All right, let's go. Let's jump forward. Yeah.